All right, so here's the deal. TMZ posted a story with a clip from Waka Flocka Flame's interview at the Breakfast Club where he talked about Bruce Jenner, aka Caitlyn Jenner. And he has some very funny shit to say. But let me read to you what TMZ had to say about it. Then I'm going to tell you what really was said in the interview. TMZ writes, and I quote, Waka Flocka Flame says people who change from men to women and vice versa are quote unquote evil. The rapper was on Charlemagne the God's Breakfast Club. They said Charlemagne the God's Breakfast Club. First of all, what about Angela Yee and what about DJ Envy? But anyway, the rapper was on Charlemagne the God's Breakfast Club Friday when he was asked about Caitlyn Jenner. Waka says that Caitlyn and others like her have done is, quote, rebuking God. And they've given in to the, quote, the devil playing tricks on their minds. He's upset that Jenner and others send messages on TV to impressionable kids and adults need to be more responsible. Okay, so here's the deal. I love how they narrowed the conversation down to that. What Waka really said is you are who you are based off of who God made you. That you can't change your gender and that God did not put those feelings in you. That's the devil playing tricks on your mind. And he said it's a test from God and that if you can't beat that one test that God put before you, that basically you'll fall for anything, which is a very interesting perspective. And he said that women are afraid to be wives and that young men are afraid to be men. And he said that, you know, the whole family structured situation is not being marketed by the media and that what they're actually marketing is stuff like transgenderism and stuff like that. That's essentially what he said in so many words, in a nutshell. And I totally agree with him. Everything he said was actual factual. It was actual fact, plain and simply. This is the type of shit that I talk about on my YouTube channels and whatnot. And, you know, this is part of the reason why I got into the media. Because a lot of people see what I'm doing. They say, oh, this asshole is always joking around. You know, he's talking shit about black women and hair. And, oh, this one and that one, she must be mixed because her hair is pretty and good hair. And he talks about marrying Japanese women and shit like that. Man, I'm just fucking with y'all. At the end of the day, the reason why I do this is because of the type of shit that you see in the media. Doing whatever I got to do to be the reality TV guy to capture your attention. But the only thing I can tell you for now is that there's a much bigger idea going on behind the scenes. You know, I'm birthing something right now, a very big idea. The whole reason why I started Music, Entertainment, Education, and Technology magazine, the blog, then YouTube channel, then it will grow into a digital magazine, is because of the simple fact that they're marketing bullshit in the media. Whack music, hate to say it, but most of the shit that comes from the South, small vocabularies, very violent music with no moral to the story, just violent for the sake of being violent, very ignorant, because I can handle violence with some sort of intelligence if it's brought to me in a very entertaining way, as long as nobody actually gets hurt, as long as it's just fantasy, entertainment, but not reality. You know, like some people support war, but they have a problem with rap music. That shit makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. But I'll talk about that another time. The point is, though, that somebody like Waka Flocka Flame, who I may not always agree with, who I don't really enjoy the music of for the most part, but what he said right here was the truth. And with everything that he was saying is a part of the reason why I started doing what I'm doing now, because of the bigger picture, the other side of the story that nobody wants to talk about, you know, which is the simple fact that people were being basically brain-fed poison. Like Nas, if I'm not mistaken, had a song called Poison. And that's exactly what we're being fed. You know, I just really have to be really careful right now because I can't say too much, but things are going to change. They're going to change for the better as far as entertainment is concerned. The internet's going to be a huge part of it. That's why we have to make sure that the internet is free. And, you know, I don't mean just free to log on. I mean free as in freedom of expression. That's why we have to make sure we fight for our free speech, because things are going to change and people are going to be tuning out from that TV. People are going to be turning off their radios by the drove soon. You'll see by the year 2020, it'll be crystal clear. But this is all my opinion. And by the way, as far as transgenders are concerned, you can't change your gender. And for the record, a transgender person is a genital mutilator. If you cut off your hot dog or you cut off your eggs, you're an overglorified genital mutilator, and I don't have to support that agenda. And that's exactly what it is, an agenda. Just because you're against people cutting off their genitals does not mean that you're against gay people or against transgenders. It means you're against violence. And cutting off your genitals is a very violent act. I remember there was all this propaganda about women in Africa. I know it's a continent, but certain parts of Africa having their clits clipped off, their clitoris. And they were saying that, it's violent and, how disgusting it was and whatnot. And then you might say, well, that was against their will. And that was the issue. Okay, so if I went and cut my fucking arm off, would you call me crazy or would you not call me crazy? You would admit that I would have to be out of my freaking mind off my goddamn rocker to go and cut my arm or my leg off. Now, if I want to cut my goddamn dick off, you would say, Jay-Z's lips, how dare you cut your dick off? You must be crazy. Now, if I go around saying I have a period, putting a tampon up my ass and pretending to be a woman and go and cut my penis off, then what you would do is you would say, oh, well, that's normal. But what's the difference? There's people out there who literally came to the conclusion that they don't want their legs. I've heard about these people, but they get called what they are, which is nuts. People know that they're not wrapped very tight. They know that there's a screw loose. We call it what it is. But when you're a transgender person, it's been normalized. And of course, they've been thrown in the same pot with the lesbians and the gays. And a lot of these lesbian gay people are not smart enough to understand the simple concept of propaganda. In fact, what was it? Was it Sigmund Freud's nephew who wrote that book, Propaganda, back in like 1928? I would strongly suggest you go read it. But listen, at the end of the day, this whole lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual thing is all bullshit. You're either a lesbian, a gay male, or you're bisexual. There is no such thing as being a transsexual. Just like there's no such thing as being transracial. Those are just made up words and terminologies. They don't really mean anything in reality. You cannot change your gender. You cannot change your race. You cannot change your sex. Life doesn't work that way. It's all pretend. It's a joke. It's not reality. And the lesbians and gays and bisexuals and transsexuals are lumped up into the same group due to the simple fact that there's not very many gay people in America. So the conclusion that they came to, well, there must be a whole bunch of people in the closet, millions and millions and millions of people in the closet. And also another way to inflate numbers is they just throw the transsexual people and bisexual people in there. Even though these should all be, treated as separate subjects and different groupings of people because they're not really groups of people. You know what I mean? Like people kind of get grouped together and they're forced into ideologies because a lot of gay people, for example, don't support so-called gay marriage. They don't want to make fun of Christianity by going into the Christian church and having the Bible sit up there in front of them, which speaks against gay marriage, and have some Christian pastor, some fake pastor, fake minister, whatever, sit up there and officiate their marriage, and for it to be a fake marriage because of the simple fact that the Bible speaks against it. You have that Bible right. I mean, they're just basically shitting all on Christianity. They're going completely against it, making fun of the Christians, and then they have the nerve they have the audacity to get mad at Christians when they speak out against so-called gay marriage, but you're doing it in their church. It's not like you're doing it in your backyard and you have your own type of preachers or ministers or something like that. It's your own gay religion. You want to take Christianity, turn it upside down, make it what you want to make out of it, when Christians fuck up Christianity enough on their own. They don't need gay people ruining it even more. But anyways, at the end of the day, there is no such thing as the LBGT community. There is no community. There's no fucking common unity. Because a gay person and a genital mutilator, aka transsexual, are two different groups of people, two different groupings that are forced to be in the same group with each other. And anybody who is a gay or a lesbian should be deeply offended. Anybody who is a bisexual should be deeply offended. They should say, look, I'm comfortable with my skin. I'm comfortable being born what I was born as. I'm just fruity, and I'm not trying to cut my banana off or clip my clit or whatever they do to women when they quote unquote become a man, which you can't do. You're either a man or you're a woman, plain and simply. But people want to be all types of things that they're not. I've heard of one man who married his car and has sex with his car. I've heard of people who want to be animals. So they get tattoos on their face to make them look like a leopard, or they get plastic surgery to make themselves look like a lion. They got all these piercings and just crazy looking shit over the top. You know, it's ridiculous. There's nothing, for the record, before I go, I just had to say this. Anybody who's sick enough to think that I'm against gay people and whatnot because of what I just said is sick in their fucking mind. Nobody is, rather, let me rephrase that. Almost no one I've encountered in my life honestly hates gay people. They may hate the way a lot of gay people act. They may be against the weird way a lot of gay men talk and walk and whatnot and think that it's unnatural, because it is unnatural. Doesn't mean they hate you. They hate the way you act. If you're a gay person who just acts normal, as opposed to this annoying gay character where you all have that weird voice and dress weird and act over the top and try to attention whore your way to the top and make everybody look at you. Who likes an attention whore? Who likes somebody with an annoying voice? Who says, man, listening to Gilbert Gottfried is very pleasing to my ears? At the end of the day, it's not that they don't like you. They just don't like the way you act because you annoy people, which plenty of people annoy people. The only thing is that gays want to act like they're all the same. That's why you have all these crazy women who say stupid shit like, oh, I love gay men. What? How do you love gay men? Are they all the exact same person? I thought people were individuals, and if people are in fact individuals, then you can't actually love gay men. You may say you love some gay men, certain individuals, but how do you just love gay men? It doesn't make any sense. But nothing about the lesbian, gay, bisexual, genital mutilator, transsexual so-called community makes sense. I mean, gay parades where you celebrate being gay and gay pride, this, that, and the third. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Nobody's trying to segregate from the gays. Nobody's trying to force you to, drink out of rainbow water fountains and use rainbow toilets. Nobody's spraying you with hoses for being gay. The police aren't beating the shit out of you by record numbers because you're gay. There's nothing like that going on. So please, if you're gay, don't bring race into the discussion. I have a bunch of videos, like a lot of stuff that I'm saying is, and the reason why I'm jumping from subject to subject is because I'm going to be doing videos in the future about this, about gay marriage, about the whole gay people bringing up race when it comes to the discussion thing. I'm going to be breaking up all these different topics and making specific videos about everything that I just talked about. But I just wanted to give you guys a preview. And it's going to be one of those things for the record books. And a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say, but oh well, tough titty. This is all my opinion. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels and visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more.